More people have been getting a look at the proposed online harms bill, and well, it's a lot worse than we even thought. Now, before we get into this, I want to give the white pill of the week. This is for all those black pillars out there. There is a political solution to these issues. Look at Argentina and what's happening there. They didn't need a civil war or anything like that to turn things around. No, Argentina, Milei takes action, bans the state from buying ads as it's used to buy journalists and media. That's amazing. Closes Telam, the state news agency, closes the state institute against discrimination, xenophobia, and racism. This is how we protect democracy. So it can be done. Look at Argentina as an example, a beacon in the darkness. This is where we're at. Now let's look into this story. Liberals table a fatally flawed online harms bill. This is, of course, the Globe and Mail reporting on this. Several outlets are reporting on this. It is really, really this bad. What is some of the stuff that's being uncovered now? It would create an infrastructure, including statutory responsibilities for social media platforms that would limit loathsome digital acts such as cyberbullying and revenge explicit material. Now, this is not something that we need new laws for. Again, this is what's being criticized about this. It's a bill that's not been asked for that creates a bunch of things that the criminal code can actually still cover in a lot of these cases, but it's really opening up the door to a lot of other things. There's still fatal flaws within the part of the bill, most notably the lack of due process. Wow, that's seems like a very Trudeau thing to put into law. Safeguards at the proposed Digital Safety Commission. Oh boy, does that sound like a great institution that we don't need. The body is expected to act as informally and expeditiously as possible, but will the granted wide-ranging powers. Similarly, commission staff will be able to obtain data and information without getting a search warrant, which is more infringing on people's rights. Now let's have a look at CTV's tech expert who gets giddy over the whole idea of having this new safety commission.
Really like the idea of potentially creating a digital safety commissioner, someone whose job it is, who has a full office to regulate online content, to potentially deal out fines and punishment for those that are not falling into compliance, and also that they would have sort of like ombudsman-like capabilities where it's a place that you could go and issue complaints. Because, if something happens online, if you see online harm, especially around children, there's really not much you can do about it right now in Canada. You can report it to the platform where you see it, but who knows if that's really going anywhere. If we have a digital safety commissioner who can field complaints, field concerns from the general public, that is something that I'm really keen to see. And then perhaps the legislation, I mean, the devil will be in the details when it comes to the legislation. Maybe it'll be good, maybe it'll be bad, maybe it'll have a bit of both, but it's something that can evolve. It's the office that I'm really interested in seeing being created.
The devil is in the details. Wow, you pointed it out so absolutely accurately there. What would this commission be other than the Ministry of Truth from 1984's novel by, George Orwell's novel, 1984, written so long ago, that warned about all of this, which is, again, happening here in Canada. Christine Van Geyn, lawyer for the CCF, she put this one out there. There are huge problems with Trudeau's newly proposed online harms bill. We created a platform so concerned Canadians can write their MP about their concerns. Please, we need your help to stop and fix this fatally flawed censorship law. The link I'll put in the description down below so you can go check this out. It's the CCF, Canadian Constitution Foundation. There's a form on here where you can write your MP, even if it's a Liberal MP, even if it's an NDP MP, write them, tell them you're concerned about this because this is a big issue. Also, I'll leave a link in the description to Christine's video where she talks about this bill and how dangerous this is, as well as some other articles that are fantastic, rundowns of what's actually happening, what this bill is about, and the problems that we don't have that it's trying to solve. Trudeau is playing a lethal game with our free speech, Canada's Online Harms Act by Krayden's Right with David Krayden. So go check that out. Link will be in the description down below. But this is so ridiculous that even pundits don't believe it when they hear it. This is Greg Wycliffe on Twitter pointing out that the Online Arms Act, Bill C-63, is so insane that Scott Adams really thinks it's a fake story.
Now, here's a story that I swear to God, I can't believe it's true. But, Jordan Peterson was interacting with the story and there was a source was shown. So maybe it's true. Canada is introducing the Harms Act, where the government can put you under house arrest or make you wear an ankle bracelet if someone else believes that you might in the future write something hateful online. What? If somebody thinks you might in the future write something hateful online, Canada can put a bracelet on you and give you house arrest?
Yeah.
How can that be true?
It is.
I'm going to put a stake in this story and say it's not true, that there's something missing. Now, I saw the source, and it looked like an official bill. There's something wrong here. I'm going to say this is too on the nose, and that there's no way Canada is going to punish people for a crime they didn't do. I'm going to say no. Too on the nose. Now, I get that I saw the source. Don't believe it.
Yeah, well, you better believe it, because things like this have happened in other countries. Mao's China only became Mao's China because of Mao and the laws that he put in. The Soviet Union only became the Soviet Union because of the laws that Lenin put in and Joseph Stalin brought forward. Now, here's the source. This is Rohana Rezel, who pointed out that under the Online Harms Act, the government can put you under house arrest and force you to wear an ankle bracelet if someone else believes that you will write something hateful online in the future. Pre-crime plus thought crime equals pre-thought crime, and that gets us into terrible fiction movies starring Tom Cruise. That's where we're at. That's literally where we're at. Here's Ezra Levant on Glenn Beck's show, bringing some of this stuff to attention.
This will bankrupt any critic of the regime. And then there's those pre-crime restraining orders. And then there's the actual criminal prosecution. They've created a standalone hate crime law for life in prison. Not even murder gets you that in Canada.
It's true.
So if this passes, you've become a Stasi state, East Germany.
Yeah, the secret informants, the secret prosecutions, the secret witnesses, the subjective political nature of the crime.
What he's talking about there is the tribunals. These won't be tried through courts. These will be tried through tribunals, which the judges in these tribunals are political appointees, and the testimony will all be in secret if any complaints are filed against you.
The three different agencies. And here, they have special rules for Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. They say if they get a complaint, a hate complaint, they must take it down within 24 hours or be subject to enormous fines. And so there's no way you can adjudicate if something is right or wrong or fair or not in 24 hours. And the fines are so enormous, basically a complaint will automatically get things taken down. Again, I'm going to tell you something now, and you're probably not going to believe me, but I swear it's in the text of the law. There are fines in there that can tag global social media companies 8% of their global revenue. So Justin Trudeau, sitting up here in Canada, says to Facebook, if you break my law, I will fine you 8% of your entire worldwide revenue. That's a $10 billion fine. Now, I think Facebook, YouTube, Google, et cetera, I think they're probably going to push back on this, or maybe they'll just leave Canada.
Yeah, probably.
And Trudeau's going to be fine with that. Facebook has already left Canadian news because Trudeau said to them, you have to pay $100 million to our list of approved journalists for the pleasure of linking to them. And Facebook said, that makes no sense. We're getting out of the Canadian news business. You cannot post a Canadian news story on Facebook. It blocks it. Trudeau's fine with that because that hurts the independent guys like us. You cannot read Rebel News on Facebook. We're blocked, as are every other Canadian news source. We are becoming like China in that there's this great firewall of Canada going up. Trudeau would be happy shutting down any independent sources of news. Soon there will only be two kinds of journalists left in Canada: government journalists and banned journalists, Glenn.
Yeah, that's where it's at. That was Ezra Levant of Rebel News, the founder of that news agency. This is, of course, parody, but now it all seems so real these days.
You shout like that, they put you in jail right away. No trial, no nothing. Journalists, we have a special jail for journalists. You're stealing, right to jail. You're playing music too loud, right to jail, right away. You're driving too fast, jail. Slow, jail. You're charging too high prices for sweaters, glasses. You right to jail. You undercook fish, believe it or not, jail. You overcook chicken, also jail. Undercook, overcook. You make an appointment with the dentist and you don't show up, believe it or not, jail, right away. We have the best patients in the world. Because of jail.
Because of jail, and that's what's going on. Now, Trudeau, talking about his affinity for the way it used to be before information was so widely shareable, he had his tight grip on the news media and what everybody was able to understand about the realities of what's happening in the world.
There is out there a deliberate undermining of mainstream media. There are the conspiracy theorists, there are the social media drivers who are trying to do everything they can to keep people in their little filter bubbles, to prevent people from actually agreeing on a common set of facts, the way, the CBC and CTV, when they were our only sources of news, used to project across the country, at least a common understanding of things.
They used to project a common understanding of things for you to understand, this common understanding. This is what they want to get back to. And this is why they're taking out social media in Canada, like they've done in other countries, such as China. It's really terrifying the whole idea of free speech is the one right that we have to protect all other rights. If we lose free speech, kiss them all out, kiss everything else goodbye. This is something that we need to fight for. So definitely go check out the link from Christine Van Geyn. It'll be in the very top link in the description down below. Go right with this template to your MP and tell them that you don't want this and that you don't want them to cram it through. Anyway, we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.